This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Good Wednesday morning to you. Thanks for joining us here for Sunrise Extra. It is Wednesday and shorter week for a lot of people out there with the holiday on Monday. So this week just flying by.
It is flying by. We're hitting Wednesday and we're dealing with more of that really nice weather in our forecast again. So for those of you who love the warm weather like Olivia's cats, they love it. They love the rain too. They were sitting out on my covered balcony last night too, just sitting there, observing, loving the rain. Yeah, I mean, hey, we all love the rain, right? Especially when we're in a dry spell like we are right now. And we're keeping an eye on our cameras across the region. You can certainly see the clouds overhead in Bullitt County and a few more in Grayson County and Adair County, but Carroll County, you got a little bit of fog going on this morning, but not really surprising with the extra vegetation, plus the fact that there's a little bit more of a valley in that spot. Yeah, so that's why you're running into a little bit more of that fog. Also, you saw some of that rainfall yesterday. So areas along and north of 64, where we got a couple of those downpours, plus we have the clear skies right now. This is where we're seeing some of the fog while we're dealing with more of those clouds and just cooler conditions for those of you further to the south. So 50s and low 60s to start off the day. We'll end up in the low to mid 80s for your highs later on this afternoon with only an isolated rain chance, and we'll keep an eye on rain chances going up overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning's commute could be a lot slower than what you see this morning, so keep that in mind as you are planning ahead. Rob?
Okay, Tawana, thanks so much. And some travel notes to let you know about. Today, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet will officially start the very first street closures in relation to the I-65 Central Corridor project. There will be closures at the South Brook and Kentucky streets and Hill Street at Burnett Avenues in downtown. These are just the very first series of closures for the $150 million construction project. That's all to replace some 3 aging bridges along Interstate 65. Work is set to be completed by mid-2027. Olivia?
A big project. Thank you, Rob. Today, the man accused of being behind the wheel during a crash that killed a 12-year-old girl is expected to be back in court this morning. Ronaldo Gill entered a plea of not guilty during an initial appearance. He's facing charges including driving under the influence, murder, assault, and failure to wear a seatbelt. A judge raised Gill's bond from $250,000 to $500,000, saying she believes Gill is a danger to everyone in the community. Gill's lawyer argued raising the bond was a punitive measure. He's set to be back in court at 9 o'clock this morning. Today, the murder trial is scheduled to start for an Elizabethtown man. Police were able to identify Chris Bell Jr. as a suspect using security video. Prosecutors say he killed Kenyetta McWilliams inside his home on Hennon Lane in December of 2023. Police say Bell shot McWilliams through the door of the home several times before leaving the scene in a van. Bell's trial is scheduled to start at 9 o'clock this morning. A former LMPD detective sentenced for the police raid that killed Breonna Taylor is asking the court to stay out of jail as he appeals his conviction. Brett Hankeson's attorney filed the motion last week. Court documents show federal prosecutors do not oppose Hankeson staying out of jail as long as it's under bond conditions that have been set in the past. The U.S. Department of Justice initially requested Hankeson not receive prison time in his sentence. He was found guilty of violating Breonna Taylor's civil rights by firing blindly into her apartment. None of his bullets hit anyone, though. Under the sentence, after serving 33 months in federal prison, Hankeson will be on probation for 3 years. Now, a follow-up to a story we told you about Tuesday morning. More than 6 years after a young father was gunned down, having just held his newborn twins, a second person charged for the crime is going to prison. Sadell Richardson Jr. took a plea deal to serve 11 years. Prosecutors say he and 2 other men, Clifton Jones Jr. and Deshaun Garrison, shot and killed Tyrese Garvin in a drive-by in the Smoketown neighborhood back in 2019. All 3 men were all under the age of 18 when it happened, but each one of them is charged as an adult. Jones Jr. took a plea deal in July and was sentenced to 8 years in prison for Garvin's murder. As for the other suspect, Garrison, his next court date is scheduled for September 11th. Preservationists are digging in to stop the Oddfellows building in downtown Louisville from being torn down. The Omni Hotel plans to replace it with pickleball courts and an entertainment venue. The building has been at the corner of 2nd and Muhammad Ali since 1897. Omni management wants to transform it into indoor and outdoor pickleball courts, an outdoor game area, plus an indoor bar and restaurant. In a request submitted last week to the Louisville Downtown Overlay District, the hotel wants a permit to tear the building down, but preservationists are suggesting 2 alternatives to demolition: keep the building standing as part of the new development or move it.
move it to the corner at 2nd and Muhammad Ali. If you look at the Omni proposal, they're building a new building there on this corner. We can take that $400,000 and move that building over just to that corner.
Omni Hotel Management declined to comment. If the demolition is approved, construction would still likely be 5 years away. Charlestown City Council will meet again this evening. One of the main topics, according to the mayor, is more potential cuts and scaling back of programs due to yet more reductions in the state budget. Wave News reporter Rob Wells is here with a closer look. Rob.
Good morning, Olivia. Charlestown Mayor Treva Hodges will address budget cuts during his State of the City speech coming up tonight. Hodges getting emotional during a post on social media this month, talking about what the impact could mean to the community as well as her own staff. The mayor said that since Indiana Governor Mike Braun signed Senate Enrolled Act No. 1, that was in April, her office has been trying to find ways to make cuts while improving the quality of life for all citizens of Charlestown. Governor Braun said that Act 1 would provide what he called, quote, historic tax relief for everybody living in the Hoosier State, citing a property tax crisis. His signature creates a new property tax credit of 10% of a homeowner's bill, up to $300. And while it helps residents, it means less in the budget for local government entities. Hodges says it's been a constant roller coaster with the numbers, determining that this week another $278,000 would have to be trimmed from her town's operating budget.
You see, our budget draft is due to the Department of Local Government Finance's online portal this coming Thursday, so just 2 days from now, because it's at the end of the day. And we have to nail down these numbers. And as we come to terms with the impact of Senate Enrolled Act 1, which is a decision that was made by your state legislators in this year's session, we continually have to revise this budget.
Okay, so well, Hodges says there is expected to be less money for things like the city parks and even for festivals hosted by Charlestown. She says there will also be at least $5,000 cut on extra perks for city workers like their holiday bonuses. The State of the City address will happen during a council meeting at 6:30 tonight at Charlestown City Hall. It's open to the public and it's going to stream live on Facebook. Olivia?
Rob, thank you. Clarksville police officers have a new contract after working for more than 8 months without one. Town council members approved a new agreement last night. Under the deal, officers' base pay will increase to $66,000 and jump again to $73,500 by 2027. The new contract also includes longevity pay starting in 2026. Some council members are worried about covering the cost of the new contract, though, because of losses created by tax cuts in Senate Bill 1. Councilwoman Jennifer Voinier says Clarksville is projected to lose $2 million by 2028.
Knowing this now and agreeing to a 3-year pay increase has placed our town in a situation we really need to look at some ways to save funds.
Police Chief Nathan Walls and members of Town Council say they hope lawmakers amend and reconsider Senate Bill 1. We've learned the city of Jeffersonville and the Jeffersonville Fraternal Order of Police have come to a short-term police contract agreement. As part of this new deal, as of January 1st next year, a Jeffersonville police patrolman's starting salary will be over $67,000. Mayor Mike Moore said he did not want to commit to a full contract, in part because of his own concerns over Senate Bill 1. District leaders say the new contract will be reflected on the proposed budget, which will be presented to City Council in the next few weeks. We'll be right back. Some U.S. lawmakers are demanding more action after the House Oversight Committee released files related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. The committee released more than 33,000 pages related to the investigation of the convicted child sex offender. Most of the documents had already been made public. The files included video appearing to be body camera footage from police searches and summaries of law enforcement interviews with victims detailing the abuse they said they suffered. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie says more new information about the case needs to be released. He's accused the White House of pressuring Republicans to block his plan to make new documents public.
People want these files released. I mean, look, it's not the biggest issue in the country. It's taxes, jobs, the economy. Those are always the big issues. But you really can't solve any of that if this place is corrupt.
The House Speaker and a bipartisan group of lawmakers also met with survivors of abuse by Epstein yesterday. Massie is trying to force a vote to release more files. Judges and circuit and court clerks are returning to the Franklin County Courthouse months after it was damaged in April's flooding. The building was flooded with several feet of water and had no electricity for months. Franklin County's courts were spread across temporary locations, even on Zoom. After renovations, judges and staff are returning to their original offices.
It feels magnificent. I'm so excited to be back here. It's like coming home again. All my staff are very happy.
Parts of the courthouse, like the basement, are still being worked on and could take up to a year to be fully renovated. But right now, we actually need that rain. It was like we went through such a long stretch during that flooding of rain, rain, rain. It's been dry. We finally got that yesterday.
Yeah, we finally got more of that rainfall yesterday. Most of that south of Louisville, where you could just have to deal with round after round after round of rainfall. Now, for today, we are quiet. We still have the same area of low pressure responsible for yesterday's rainfall nearby, but we're keeping an eye on what's going on off towards our northwest. That is the front that'll bring additional rounds of rain in our forecast for overnight into tomorrow. We're seeing clearer skies for those of you along and north of 64. More of those clouds further to the south, and that is influencing temperatures this morning, but mainly the fog formation. Yes, we're seeing some very patchy light fog across portions of parts of Kentucky, but for those of you further to the north in Indiana, where we've had those clearer skies, this is where visibility has dropped to near nothing in some spots, down to half a mile or less in some locations with that fog. So please be careful as you're heading out. But then others are just dealing with this, the clouds overhead, like what we're seeing in Simpsonville, but that has been making for a pretty cool sunrise there on that SkyTrack camera. We're sitting in the 50s and low 60s to start off the day. We're going to end up in the low to mid 80s for highs later on this afternoon, with an isolated rain chance in your forecast. As we look ahead to the next 10 days, here's what we'll have going on. Tomorrow, we'll start to add in some more of those showers and thunderstorms after midnight. Going to keep those around into early tomorrow morning. So your morning commute tomorrow could be a soggy one. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Through lunch, still some scattered showers in the forecast. By the afternoon, this is when we start to dry out, and it may take some time for those clouds to clear. So for tomorrow, we're only talking about highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. Once we head throughout your Thursday, we can see anywhere from 1/4 inch of rain to 2 inches of rainfall. Just will depend on where we see the heaviest rainfall, coupled with multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Another front arrives on Friday, and this one will bring some more of those scattered storms in our forecast. Once we get into your Friday evening and Friday night, some of that rain still looks to linger into Saturday because this front may take a while to get out of our region. So with that slow trend of this front lingering a little bit longer, that is why I've increased rain chances for Saturday, and also drop your highs down into the 60s and low 70s for Saturday too. So keep that in mind with so many events happening as we get into the weekend. Now on Sunday, much more sunshine, highs back into the low to mid 70s, climbing into the low 80s by the middle of next week, as we keep an eye on another system that might try to bring us a couple of isolated downpours towards next Tuesday and Wednesday. Olivia?
Thanks, Tawana. Happening tomorrow, the Fraser History Museum is getting into the spirit of celebrating Bourbon Heritage Month with a Great Gatsby-themed speakeasy. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote is there with a look at what you can expect. Kirsten.
Hey, Olivia, good morning to you. That's right, the 2025 Michter's Speakeasy at the Fraser Museum is definitely going to be a night that you don't want to miss. It's a Great Gatsby theme, food, dancing, bourbon, and emphasis on the dancing. And I'm here with Anne-Marie.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And tell me what we have going on here.
These are tomorrow night right here at the Fraser History Museum. There's an amazing live band, the Gatsby Gang, that will be performing live here during the event. But between their sets, I'm going to be teaching some period-inspired line dancing to make sure that everybody can enjoy the music. But you know, Charleston is one of the popular dances of the time that everybody knows about. But some of the ones we don't think about as often, Black Bottom, that was apparently the most popular dance of the time. A lot of fun, very cute. And then things like Turkey Trot and the Camel Walk as well. Fun! And then you have some traditional ballroom like Foxtrot, Waltz. Tango is huge, considered very exotic in the salons and parlors. So lots of dancing going on in the 20s, not just as Charleston, but other styles as well.
Yeah, and so tomorrow night, I mean, everyone's going to be in their best attire and everything, and so it's kind of a way for you, it should be very low stress if you're learning. Anyone, this is open for anyone.
Anyone, beginner friendly, even if you've had a bourbon or two, come on out and join me for the lesson. I'll make sure that you can dance too.
Yeah, and just what's your favorite part about getting to like kind of immerse yourself in the 1920s and just
I love seeing everybody dressed up. The fringe and the sequins just makes me so happy. And just look at this. How much fun are they having? Do you see those smiles? We want everybody to be smiling while they're out here at the Michter Speakeasy.
And you don't need a partner. That's my favorite part. You know, you can just be, with your friends, with your spouse, anyone. But anyone can do a line dance.
Anyone can do this.
Love that. Well, okay, so it's tomorrow night, Thursday night, right here at the Fraser History Museum, 6:30. Tickets are still available, but I'm told that they're going very fast. So if you want to get it in and all of that, you should book those tickets today. Olivia, back to you.
Absolutely, and looking fabulous there, ladies. Thank you, Kirsten. Kroger shoppers, the grocery chain is offering an additional discount for select customers today. On Wednesday, customers ages 55 and up can save an extra 5% on their in-store purchase total. Kroger executives say they're proud to support senior customers with extra ways to save. To get the deal, customers do need to mention it to their cashier. Then all they need to do is use their Kroger card or alternate ID when checking out. Well, a unique cat was caught on camera in Kentucky, prompting people to call it the Kentucky Wildcat. We'll have details and the video when we come back. Here's a look at what's happening in your neighborhood. If you're hungry and already thinking about lunch plans, we've got you covered. Food trucks will be lining up on 4th Street again today for Food Truck Wednesday. You'll have the chance to walk down 4th Street trying diverse food options and listening to live music. Some of the food trucks you can expect are Spinelli's, Little Cheesers, and Commonwealth Barbecue and Provisions. It's all happening today from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Louisville Bats are back in action today with fun for all ages at the ballpark. Today is Senior Day. Day, meaning everyone 55 and older will get half off tickets. There will also be baseball bingo that you can play throughout the game for a chance at some special prizes. And lastly, running the bases isn't just for the kids, as all seniors are invited to round the bases after the game. Gates open at 11 o'clock this morning with the first pitch at noon. There's no sugarcoating it here. UK football last year was just not good, but there was one bright spot that came from the season. That's when the Cats walked into Oxford and shocked the 6th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels 20-17 in the highest-ranked road win for the Cats since 1977. The win also marked the first time the Cats had beaten Ole Miss since 2011. However, head coach Mark Stoops says that was last year, and he and the team are leaving the past in the past.
You've heard me for 13 years say, last year was last year, this year is this year. And that's always the answer, because it's true.
Ole Miss comes into Lexington as the 20th ranked team in the country. It will also be the SEC opener for both teams. Kickoff is set for 3:30, and you can watch it on ABC. Well, not quite a wildcat, but a bobcat that was caught on camera visiting a northern Kentucky woman's home. Adrienne McCauley of Villa Hills says a bobcat wandered onto her property around 8 a.m. on Monday. Video on her Blink camera shows us the feline, similar to a medium-sized dog, running up on her property and then just disappears. A wildlife biologist told her that although it's rare to see a bobcat walking on someone's porch, it's becoming more of a common thing in the area. And the cat lady in me just loves it. I think it's so cute, but it is dangerous. Don't touch it. Well, thanks so much for joining us here for Sunrise Extra. Hope you have a great Wednesday.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Russell. You're watching WAVE. Today, the murder trial is scheduled to start for an Elizabethtown man. Police were able to identify Chris Bell Jr. as a suspect using security video. Prosecutors say he killed Kenyetta McWilliams inside his home on Hennon Lane in December 2023. Police say Bell shot McWilliams through the door of the home several times before leaving the scene in a van. Bell's trial is scheduled to start at 9 o'clock this morning. Here's Tawana taking a look at the forecast.
And what we got going on for today will be a little bit more of that sunshine for some, and we'll keep an eye on some areas of patchy fog for others. So this is a view in Starlight, Indiana, where we have, of course, a few of those clouds overhead as of right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. And we'll also monitor some of the patchy fog, especially for those of you along and north of I-64. So we'll watch for some of that fog slowing you down. But for those of you south of 64, you're just dealing with some extra clouds overhead, and that is it. Visibility down to a quarter of a mile anywhere from portions of Du Bois County into Jefferson County, Indiana, and up towards Bedford too. So if you're traveling in those spots, please take it slow and watch out for those kids at the bus stops. In the 50s and low 60s right now, but we'll end up in the low to mid 80s for your highs this afternoon. Isolated rain chances in the forecast for the daytime hours. It's overnight tonight into tomorrow that we'll start to see some more rounds of rainfall, and we'll keep an eye on additional rounds of rain for portions of your Friday and Saturday as well. Rob?
Tawana, thanks so much. Things looking pretty good out there on the interstates. We do have reports of a crash at 264 East Ramp from Southern Parkway, a two-car accident there. It's supposed to be tied up for about the next 45 minutes to an hour. So if you are going through that area, again, we're talking 264 East Ramp from Southern Parkway, two-car accident. Have a great morning.